Hey everybody, Phil Tenaya here for The Matrix Goes to School, where we are promoting psychological flexibility in education, otherwise known as noticing what works to get you where you want to go. Now, today, I want to talk about building behavioral vocabularies with The Matrix. Recently, I just finished giving a crisis training to some staff, and the focus was on dealing with challenging behaviors of students. So, as we began the training and went through the training, it occurred to me that really what we're up to here is we're trying to help students build behavioral vocabularies that work to get them where they want to go. And what we can do is we can actually use the matrix here to help students build these vocabularies by promoting psychological flexibility and helping them get in touch with who and what's important to them so they can learn how to take the stuff they don't want with them to get more of what they want out of life, and or at least school at this point. So the way this might work would be we would have a student demonstrating some challenging behaviors. And to the extent that we are able to set up a flexible context, we might say something to them like this. Hey, I've got this way of looking at things. Mind if I show it to you and see if we can't use it to try and help sort some things out here? Or if you've already shown them the matrix, we might just say, hey, remember that matrix that we used before? Let's see if we can't use that and figure out what's going on here. Now, when we do something like that, the first thing that we're doing is we're trying to prime them and we're looking for this thing that's otherwise known as a yes. And let's just say that the student might say yes or nod or something like that. And now we know that we got a little bit of flexibility going on in them. So we might then say to them, so the first question might be for you is who and what's important to you. So they might say, hey, my friends are important to me. And if they're noticing that they're in school, they might say that learning is important to me. So we're going to put that down, right? And then we might then ask them, well, something seems to be showing up that's getting in the way of you doing that kind of stuff and moving in that direction. So what do you think it might be? So I've already kind of written down things here, and usually it might come down to some kind of fear or some kind of frustration. So we might write that down, and then we might go up here and say, well, let's notice some of the things that you're doing to try to move away from this stuff. So, some of the things that we might be seeing here at this point is we might be seeing some running, or they might be putting their head down to get away from whatever that feeling of frustration is showing up inside of them. And the idea here is they are engaging in these challenging behaviors to try to get away from this stuff down here. The only problem is it isn't working, and now we get into this loop where they just do more and more of this stuff and they get stuck. Frustrating for them, frustrating for us teachers and educators. But we have our handy dandy matrix, so we're just going to continue, just noticing all of that. And now we're going to come over here and we're going to start talking a little bit about, well, gee, what do you think you might be able to do to kind of keep moving toward what's important to you over here, like your friends and learning? So once we start doing that, we get a little bit of a pause here. And what may show up is a little bit of reflecting might show up inside the student. And then that might lead to them coming up with a thought, I could, and then fill in the blank, which is something they would come up here and say, well, I could say hi. So let's say they take that thought out of the realm of the mind and put it up here in behaviors and they say hi. So maybe we can even have them practice saying hi to someone. So let's say they say hi to someone and that someone looks at them and they say hi back to them. So that goes back down inside of them. And the next thing you know, this behavior called smiling shows up, which is highly correlated with saying hi. And now they have this feels good shows up inside of them. Now the other student might then smile back, in which case now we have two people smiling. And then the next thing you know, we might both be engaging in a fist pump together. And now when that's happening, we've got this nice, warm, kind of friendly feeling showing up inside of us. So what we have in fact done here now is we have just increased their behavioral vocabulary. And by that I mean what's going on outside of them is some new stuff. What's showing up inside of them is also some nice stuff. So the behavioral vocabulary will include what shows up inside of them, what's going on the inside, and what's going on the outside. Now, the cool thing about this is they can take these small little pieces of behavior and mix and match them and come up with all kinds of different combinations. And now we have this whole thing moving in a little different direction. So that might be one way to build the behavioral vocabulary. And certainly we do this a lot with the matrix with students. And thank you for checking in with this. And if you want to know more, come and check out my blog. Take care.